Ari Lewis Show.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Ari Lewis Show here on Israel Sports and News Radio. Thank you for joining us. At any time, you can email the program arilewishow@hotmail.com or email the station Israel Sports and News Radio @gmail.com. Football in full effect, NFL season in Week 11, and a lot of stuff going on, Week 12. A lot of interesting things going on, and a lot of surprises as well. On the line to discuss the football season, what has occurred and what may occur in the future. Back to the program, Cali Dave. Cali Dave, what is up?
Hey, man, everything's good. Can't complain. Chicken wings and football in Tel Aviv. How about yourself? How you doing?
I'm doing good. Don't have the Tel Aviv or the chicken wings part, but I am following football. I want to start first the two undefeated teams. Patriots, maybe not such a surprise, but Carolina undefeated to this point. How shocked are you that they have not got the L yet?
Honestly, for me, it's not a complete shock. You look at their foundations. Ron Rivera, he's a defensive-minded coach. He was the Chargers' defensive coordinator the year that the Chargers went to the AFC Championship in 2009. LT had broken the touchdown record, and he brings that stability to the defense of Carolina. And then you talk about Cam Newton, Super Cam. He really is Superman. You looked at him his rookie season. He was coming in. He transformed the game, showing that a quarterback who is deadly on the run can beat you with the pass. And he's only evolved. He's grown as a passer, and now he's the guy that you can kind of rely on to move the ball. And they've developed their players within their offense. Jonathan Stewart, been there for years. So not that surprised, but, in the NFL it is very tough they're 11-0, extremely impressive. We have talks for an undefeated Super Bowl. It could be possible, so we'll see.
All right. You know what? I'm going to ask you this question now. If you have to choose an MVP between Cam Newton and Tom Brady, who do you go with?
At this point, I have to tell you, I'll go with Cam Newton. Simply put, Rob Gronkowski, with his level of domination, utterly unstoppable, the aspect he brings to the offense, that in itself, not saying Tom Brady is any less valuable to the team, but in the sense he has Belichick, he has a professional caliber organization, proven. I got to say this year, it's Cam Newton with his stability. He had 6 touchdowns against the Skins. Thanksgiving, he tore it up, sent Dallas home packing, so took care of that division. I got to go with Cam Newton now. And I think if he stays undefeated, and it was 2 undefeated teams, got to go with Cam Newton simply because of Rob Gronkowski. Who can compare his whole offense? You could have 3 number 1 receivers in the NFL who wouldn't bring the level of threat that Rob Gronkowski brings to your offense. So that's what I say. I mean, what's your thoughts on the matter?
I agree. If it's between Cam Newton and Brady, I'm going with Cam Newton. I think he has to do more, and I think he's a little more versatile at this point in his career. Brady almost 40, Cam Newton a lot younger, is a threat to run in addition to the pass. Again, that's just between these two guys. There's a bunch of candidates out there. Let's go actually to the NFC North. Minnesota 7-3, first place right now.
Sure.
And Adrian Peterson, who missed most of last season due to that suspension, is having another monster year. How good is this guy, and did the suspension maybe help him? He was able to rust a bit last year. What do you think about that?
He's the kind of guy who in spite of the negative things that have happened, he really is the type of guy you can look up to. Torn ACL, comes back, MVP caliber player. He's on my fantasy team. Love him. The production, the versatility, the consistency, the durability to be this far into his career and to be in every down back. You do not want to be a defense facing AP running down 20, 25 times. That middle linebacker is not having a good day. So you know what I mean? He continues to impress, and I say he's the Walter Payton of our time. I mean, there are great running backs in this league. Todd Gurley. Each year they're coming and going. Injuries. I mean, you look at Arian Foster. The guy, when he's healthy, is an amazing player, but consistently getting hurt and just he's not the type of back that you're scared to play. He brings a little bit of finesse. AP, real scary to play. Love watching the guy play, and hopefully the Vikings can do something. Teddy Bridgewater, The Norv Turner offensive coordinator, he's really bringing an aspect to that offense that AP needs, and it's nice to see the purple gang doing well, and hopefully we can see them do something in the playoffs. We'll see. AP's got to stay healthy.
Absolutely, no doubt about that. Again, this is the Ari Lewis Show here on Israel Sports News Radio. My guest is Cali Dave, and a few more thoughts about Adrian Peterson. You talked about people getting injured. The running back position in general is a 4-year lifespan. Here's AP kicking butt again after missing basically a whole year, and he's the best running back in the league. And who knows, over 1,000 yards. I don't think he'll get to 2,000, but 1,700 wouldn't shock me if AP gets there. Cali Dave, let's go to Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers and company knows they should have been in the Super Bowl last year. They know they botched it. They know they blew it. How much motivation is that giving them? Right now, they would be in the playoffs, but they would start out on the road, potentially, depending on how things shake out. So what are your thoughts about the Pac-Man?
Honestly, Ari, I got to tell you that the outlook for Green Bay at 7-4 right now behind the Vikings in their division is not so good. Right now, Minnesota is on top of Atlanta, 10-3, poised to go 8-4. And, the Bears beat them on Thanksgiving Day at 5-6, and Detroit at 4-7. They're all contenders in this division. And Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers, as great as he is, he's had his legs chopped out from under him. Jordy Nelson, your number one wide receiver, goes down. That's your deep threat. Now you're looking at guys who, likely were, you're really in prime times with Randall Cobb healthy, Jordy Nelson, Eddie Lacy. You have guys who are, number 3 receivers now moving into the slot, the number 2, the number 1 spot. And, Green Bay's paid for it in the standings with 3 losses. And now they're 7-4. They have 4 losses. It's been 3 out of 4 I think they've lost. So we'll see. It could be. All right, it could be a year that they don't make a playoff. 1 or 2 more injuries for Green Bay, and that's the story, my friend. And that's how fast fates turn in today's NFL. Who would have said, 11 weeks ago, Carolina is going to be 11-0. Cardinals are going to be sitting on top of the 5-5 Seahawks at 8-2. Okay, the Giants and the Redskins and the Eagles and the Cowboys. Well, who would have thunk that they're all going to be within a game or 2 of each other? At 5-5 at the top. So. The NFL, there are some things that don't change, like the NFC East, but other than that, lots of surprises this year, and really looking forward to see how things play out the rest of the year.
Yeah, let's talk about Seattle because, obviously a 1 yard away from winning the Super Bowl, everyone's still confused to this day of why they passed it and didn't give it to Marshawn Lynch. Keith Olbermann came out with a story saying, you got to blow up the team. They'll never recover from this. It looks like he's right. Seattle most likely will not make the postseason. There's time. It's possible. They most likely will not. If they don't, do they blow up this thing? Do they trade key players, fire Carroll, and move on? What do you think happens for the future of the Seahawks?
A lot of reactionaries right now. A lot of people, running for the hills. Now, let's take a step back for a second, Ari. The NFL today has 15 teams between 4-6 and 6-4. All those teams are contention for wild cards. The best wild card record right now in the AFC is 6-4. The NFC is 7-4. So Seattle sitting at 5-5 are in contention for the second wild card spot right now. Only the Falcons sit at 6-4 for the second wild card spot. Green Bay right now is in contention for the first. So anything can happen right now. Let's hypothetically play out the scenario. They continue to stumble. There has to be some reshuffling. Marshawn Lynch has spoke about retiring. I've got to say the wheels may be coming off a little bit. Come on. Pete Carroll, look at the results, man. He built it up like a college system. First 2 years, he got to the playoffs. Third year, Super Bowl win. Fourth year, another Super Bowl visit. You know what I mean? So it's impressive what he's done. We'll see. We'll see what happens with the Seahawks. If I'm in Seattle, I'm not happy, okay, but I'm sleeping well at night knowing that we can easily make the playoffs. We have a solid defense. There needs to get a little bit of rhythm. That defense needs to start playing like they, Legion of Boom, big hits, turnovers. The Seahawks need to start really, relying on the defense. Russell Wilson, he's never really been, in my opinion, the franchise quarterback. I feel like he's a game manager. with great athletic ability. He's a bit more than your Joe Flacco. He's a bit more than the people who can just pass. He can run, but I don't know. We'll see about his longevity, and if he can take you in that fourth quarter down from 2 touchdowns. Who would you rather have with the ball? Eli Manning, who can't run a lick, or Russell Wilson? That's a question to ask yourself. And so Seahawks fans will, in my opinion, come to see in a couple of years, like the McNabbs, like the Colin Kaepernick, and we'll see if the Cam Newtons fall into Cam Newton something different. But the running quarterbacks have a hard time, if anything, having longevity and definitely winning a Super Bowl. Russell Wilson has broken the stigma, but we'll see about longevity. If we can be ranked among the greats, we will see.
Indeed. Again, this is the Ari Lewis Show on Israel Sports News Radio, joined by Cali Dave. Cali Dave, you mentioned Eli Manning. The New York Giants are first place, 5-5, and people might not be scared about them, but I would point out, as I've done before, the 2 times they won the Super Bowl in recent years, they were 9-7 in the regular season, the other time 10-6. So in my opinion, there's still a threat, even if they're 500, but assess the chances of the New York G-men.
Definitely are. You make very valid points. Tom Coughlin proven himself twice. Eli Manning, as much as I hate the guy for snubbing the Chargers, it would have been great to have Eli on my team. I love Phillip Rivers. I'm still bitter. With that being said, he's come through, makes some magic, really. And so no, really.
Well, let's talk about that. I mean, it's a long time ago. It was 11 years ago, the 2004 draft, when Manning refused to go number 1 to the Chargers. But I'm confused because he thought he was going to lose, but if he would have gone there, you would have had some decent running back named LT and, a pretty good tight end and pretty good coach. I mean, don't you think they might have won a Super Bowl or 2 if Eli goes to San Diego?
Look, all right, it's the grass is always greener on the other side, and nothing to go away from LT. LT for Hall of Fame, number 21, just retired his number. No one will ever wear it again. He's great, but I have to look at Lombardi trophies. I mean, Eli went there, and who knows who was around Eli? They had some defense, and look, we still had Merriman, Weddle, Cromartie. We're talking about some big defensive names.
Gates.
That we, yeah. I mean, Gates, I don't know if we would have had, but just saying, the point is he's got 2 Lombardis. Rivers has, an AFC championship and some tears and, a notebook and a violin. I mean, the Rivers cry me a river. You know what I mean? Look, who knows? Marty Schottenheimer with Eli Manning, similar mindset, similar coaches. Tom Coughlin kind of comes from the Schottenheimer school, that defensive mind, that grind and pound. I mean, you look at the Giants teams that won the Super Bowl, and they did it with defense and Eli play-action passing and hard-nosed running with that split two-headed combo, Maud Bradshaw and I can't recall their second back, but they had a 1-2 punch, and I think Marty could have easily taken a team to the Super Bowl and won one with Eli, and he would have gotten a Lombardi, which Schottenheimer obviously deserved one, in my opinion, a great coach, and he'll probably be in the Hall of Fame if he isn't already.
Yeah, Marty, I mean, one of the best regular season coaches we've seen. He did struggle in the postseason. They called him Marty Ball and played a little too conservatively. Who knows what would have happened? But I was always confused why Eli thought San Diego was not so good and New York was, because when he got there wasn't a lot in New York. But anyways, that is what happened. Let's go to the AFC. Let's talk about the South first of all. Colts 5-5. Their star quarterback, though, on the shelf. Does that make Houston the favorite in that division?
It's an interesting division. It really is. I mean, even out of the Jags at 4-6. Blake Bortles coming of age, Allen Hurns. They have an explosive offense that are putting up points. Right now they're down to my Chargers. Baruch Hashem, thank the Lord. But the Colts have Hasselbeck, who is a veteran quarterback, played in Seattle for many, many years. He had led the league in passing for a number of years. So he's a reliable guy who is not going to give you, those 400 yards games anymore. But he's going to give you three touchdowns a pick. 250, 300 yards, he's going to be able to move the team down the field. And, Indianapolis, the remaining schedule is not that hard. They got Houston, Jacksonville, and the Titans, and some other AFC competition that, in all honesty, is not that good. We're looking at a lot of 5-5 teams. So Indianapolis finishing, I think, at 9-7 is realistic, and Houston's going to have to really step up. Houston has a problem at quarterback. They have a problem at running back. Arian Foster out for the season. They're running on fumes. The defense has struggled. J.J. Watt, where has he been? He last year, every week he was on the highlights. He was throwing touchdowns. catching touchdowns, sacks every game, and he's, kind of been contained this year, unfortunately. Maybe the Hard Knocks curse. They were on HBO's Hard Knocks this year, and you look at the teams that's been on Hard Knocks, it seems like they've struggled. The Jets, the Cowboys, Bengals. So maybe it's along those lines, and I think Indianapolis is safe this year. I think their biggest competition is Jacksonville. That's my sleeper pick. Jacksonville may sneak into that second wild card place, and actually may even win a playoff game. I think Bortles and that offense is liable to do that. So we'll see. We'll see what happens in the AFC South.
All right, let's move over and talk about AFC West. Denver 8-2, though Manning a bit banged up. I don't think, though, it's any type of threat they will lose the division. But if you were in charge of the Broncos, how do you go cautiously where you keep Manning protected, but you try to get that all-important 2 seed and not have to deal with the wild card round? And we know the Patriots are going to get the 1, most likely. So how would you go about the situation with Denver?
It's one of those situations. You have a guy, Brock Osweiler, never started a game, comes in last week and gets a win against the Bears. And they got a big matchup coming up with the Patriots. Now, I'll tell you what, if Osweiler leads Denver, who have the number 1 defense in the NFL, and there's a reason they're 8-2, is that defense coming after you with a great pass rush. They got Talib, who's, in my opinion, this year the best corner in the league. I know people are going to say Cromartie, Revis. Revis may give him a run, but based on how this defense is doing, he's shutting people down. Denver, I think, allowed only 5 pass touchdowns the entire season up to last week. So if I'm Denver and I'm the head coach, right now I ease Osweiler into it against the Patriots. I want to really control the clock, run the ball, little outs to my running back, screen passes, little outs with the tight ends, and then spread the field when they start creeping up in the box and shut down the run. Really basically the fundamentals, and keep playing those strong defense. I don't know if they'll beat the Patriots. I don't think they will. So, with that being said, they still are in safe position to take that second seed. The issue is kind of like the Tom Brady, Drew Bledsoe scenario. In a sense, I'm not sure Osweiler has the same story as Brady, but in that sense, Brady came in early in the season, replaced a franchise quarterback who was a bit older in Bledsoe, came and started winning some games, and he went on to win the Super Bowl with a real good defense and a team that that Belichick had kind of nursed into that space where they're ready to win. Bledsoe was their guy, just like Peyton Manning's Denver's guy. But right now, Osweiler has the opportunity to take the reins, and as great as Peyton Manning is, he very well may have played his last game. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Wow.
It may be the case.
Wow. Well, Peyton Manning's up there. He's about 40, so certainly nothing to be ashamed about if he doesn't play another football game in the NFL. Basically has most regular season records out there, has 1 Super Bowl reign and appeared in 2 others. Again, this is the Ari Lewis Show on Israel Sports and News Radio. Speaking to Cali Dave, breaking down the NFL season so far. Let's go out to the north because Cincinnati 8-2 could get the 2 seed if Denver stumbles. Pittsburgh's right there 6-4. If the season ended today, they would get a playoff spot as well. So break down the AFC North.
As always, seeing at least 2 of these 3 teams, the Browns, they're used to being in that cellar, so we'll just not talk about them right now. Ravens at 3-7, they could make a push. Flacco is out. We'll see what happens now. Steelers, Bengals, 2 hard-nosed teams. Andy Dalton looking like a great quarterback, an elite quarterback at this point. Gotta say, I like the Bengals in this division. Pittsburgh, riddled by injuries. Le'Veon Bell, their star back, really just most dynamic back in the league. He would have been the top back right now. Production just incredible. Passing game, running back game, all around back. He's out. So you chop one of the legs of the Steelers out, and honestly, with the competition the Bengals bring, Dalton throwing to A.J. Green, they come with Jeremy Hill and a 2-headed attack on the running back, and honestly, Cincinnati is just a better team right now with their running game, and So the Steelers will get into the playoffs, and for them to get past the wild card game will be a stretch, and the Ravens will even give them competition for that wild card spot and for the second place in that division. We'll see what happens with those Bengals, definitely in the AFC North.
All right, and of course we got to go out to the East to the AFC. Patriots undefeated, as we discussed. Obviously, they mathematically pretty much can't lose that division. But do you think they slip? 6 games left as of now, the recording of this show. Do they slip and lose a game, or will they end the regular season undefeated?
Let's take a look at their schedule. Look, let's assume that they stay healthy, okay, which obviously is the key. Got the Broncos coming up on the night game, okay, so what will happen in that game? Honestly, it could go Denver's way maybe 25% of the time, but likely they win that game. And they got the Eagles and the Texans. Those, in my call, the Patriots take those games. Unfortunately for the Eagles and Texans fans, not happening for you guys. Titans, then Jets, then Dolphins. So it kind of looks like a walkthrough. It's hard for me to envision any of the Jets will give them a run for their money. Can't say the Dolphins won't fight them. Dolphins. Look, here's the thing. It gets to a point. Do you play your starters when you're 3 games ahead with 2 games left? Why would I play Gronkowski and Tom Brady and one hit, they're done, right? So I risk my player's career. I risk my season. For what? So I can toast champagne every year when other teams lose, and I can go play golf with the Dolphins. So as a coach, first of all, Ron Rivera in the NFC has to think about this. I say he's going to rest his players. That's a smart coaching decision. So is Belichick's ego going to get in the way of Brady winning it, hypothetically, another Super Bowl, cementing himself as the greatest of all time? Because that is what's that's at stake here. Because right now the argument is Montana Brady, and that's an equal. That's a coin flip in my opinion. That's 50-50. That's ace king versus pocket queens. That can go either way. Give Brady another Super Bowl at his age right now. I think that discussion is done. So if I'm Belichick, I gotta rest my players. What do you think about that?
You know what? I think Belichick's hit it right on. He is a very egotistical man, and the Patriots, with their cheating, they want to make a noise to the rest of the league. Look at us. You said we deflated our balls. Even though we did, we want to be undefeated anyways, and I think they will try to be undefeated, even though Rivera, you mentioned, made probably a smarter move, and I think the Patriots will go for it. I don't know if they will get it. Obviously, 6 more games to go, including tonight's game. Let me ask you this. At this point in time, if you had to make a Super Bowl prediction, who's going to the big game?
Be honest with you, you know what I want to see, and I think everyone wants to see is Carolina and New England coming in and playing in the big game. It's hard for me to pick against that. I can give you 4 teams, a 4-team pool. It's hard for me to narrow down a choice right now. I'm going to say Carolina. I'm going to say Minnesota, New England, and Cincinnati are going to be there in the final games. And I think it's going to come down to Carolina and New England at this point. These teams are just looking incredibly strong. The defense of Carolina, Cam Newton's progression, and then obviously Belichick and Gronkowski and Brady is something we all love to see. So it's an exciting year, and I'm looking forward to seeing how the season progresses.
It's interesting. I feel like the AFC is pretty much a lock with the Patriots, even though I don't like the team. But in the NFC, you have a bit of a crapshoot. It could be the Vikings. It could be Carolina. It could even be the Packers, even though Packers could not make the playoffs. I could also see them going to the Super Bowl. It's not kind of a flip. Same thing with the Giants. I could see also them skidding and not making the postseason, and also making a wild card run as they've done before. So the NFC is wide open, and as I pointed out before in a previous broadcast, you generally do not see the 2 number 1 seeds in the Super Bowl. That's why I would love to see Carolina, New England, as you and probably the rest of the country, especially if they're both undefeated, obviously. That's never happened, an undefeated Super Bowl. So that's what I want to see. The odds are in that favor, but this, The games are played on field, not on paper, and not on odds. So it would be something certainly interesting to see. All right, last question, Cali Dave, before we let you go. What are you looking for the rest of today? This is football Sunday, a lot of games left to go. What are you looking forward to the rest of today?
I'd like to see Arizona pull out a win today. I'd like to see them really, assert themselves. And obviously, the New England Denver game is really what the highlight of the day. We get to see, the great defense of Denver with really a good running game, and Demaryius Thomas, really some stars come on the field. So Sunday Night Football after Thanksgiving, we can all be thankful for freedom, for turkey, and for good old-fashioned Sunday Night Football. All right, so thanks for having me on. It's been great, and hopefully we'll get a Chargers victory too, and we can salvage some semblance of respectability before next season.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, good luck to you guys. And, tough year, but if you guys could do well in the draft, the league, as you talked about, things turn around very quickly. We didn't think Carolina would be undefeated at this point, and we didn't think that the Seahawks would be this bad. I mean, we knew they would struggle, but I don't think most people thought they would be in this position. This is another episode of the Ari Lewis Show here on Israel Sports and News Radio. My guest has been Cali Dave, breaking down the NFL season to this point and getting some projections and possibilities for the future. Thanks to Cali Dave. Thanks to everyone for listening. God bless, be well, and shalom from Israel.